You break easily. You know it, even if you have never said it out loud. The first wave of pressure comes, and something in you folds. The hard week arrives, and you go quiet and small. The thing you wanted gets difficult, right where it was always going to get difficult, and you tell yourself it was never that important anyway. You walk away and you call it wisdom, and you both know it was fear. You are not soft because you were born soft. You are soft because you have never once been put under load and made to stay. Every time it got heavy, you set it down. Every time it got cold, you stepped back inside. And a mind that has been allowed to flinch 10,000 times has learned one lesson above all others. It has learned that you do not mean it, that when the weight comes, you will run. And the worst part is what this does quietly, underneath, where you cannot see it. Every retreat teaches you something about yourself, and you have been teaching yourself the same dark thing for years, that you are the kind of man who folds, that when it counts, you are not to be relied upon, not even by you. You have 1,000 small pieces of evidence stacked against yourself. Every quit, every flinch, every soft exit you dressed up as a sensible decision, and somewhere in you, a quiet verdict has formed. You have decided you are weak, and you live as a man lives who has secretly convicted himself. By the end of this, you will know why you crumble, and it is not the reason you think. You will know the one ancient practice that built men who could not be broken by cold, by hunger, by fear, or by loss. And you will understand that toughness was never a thing you are born with or denied. It is a thing you forge, the way iron is forged, by being held in the fire and refusing to leave it. 600 years ago, in a province of black pines and gray winters, a man learned to stand inside the exact storm you keep fleeing. He was not stronger than you. He was, at the start, far weaker. What he was taught is the answer you have been missing your whole life. So listen closely, because I am going to hand it to you the way it was handed to him. If something here begins to land in you, a quiet like helps another seeker find this same fire. Share in the comments the place in your life where you keep folding under pressure. Do not hold back. Another soul out there needs your honesty tonight. And if this is the kind of truth you have been hungry for, walk with this voice a while longer. Now, the pines. His name was Kaname. He came to the mountain temple at 20, and he came to escape. He had been a merchant's son, soft-handed and quick to complain, a young man who had never in his life finished a hard thing he started. When grief took his family and the war took his town, he climbed to the temple not out of devotion, but because he had nowhere else to run. And the old teacher there, a man the villagers called the Stone Priest, looked at him for a long moment and saw exactly what he was: a reed, something that bends at the first wind and calls the bending survival. You know this young man, because you have been him, the one who arrives at every hard thing already looking for the exit, the one who mistakes retreat for cleverness and quitting for the wise choice, and never stays anywhere long enough to be changed by it. You have started 100 things in your life: diets, disciplines, callings, loves, dreams you swore to yourself in the dark. And you have finished almost none of them, because at the first real resistance, you found a reason, and the reason was always so reasonable, and you walked. You have never let any hard thing finish the work of making you, because you left every one of them halfway through the fire. The Stone Priest did not comfort him. He did not tell him his softness was a wound to be healed gently. He told him a thing that landed in the boy like a blow. He said, "You are not broken. You have simply never been forged. Comfort has done to you what rust does to a blade left in the rain. And there is only one cure for a man who has gone soft from comfort. He must be put back into the living fire and stay there until he changes." The fire had a name. The old men of that province called it the way of the standing stone. It was not a technique. It was not a secret strike or a hidden breath. It was a single, brutal principle carved into the bones of every hard man that mountain ever produced. You become unbreakable in only one way. You place yourself, on purpose, into the discomfort you fear, and you stay in it one breath longer than the part of you that wants to flee. Stop here, because this is you. Everything you have ever done has been built to avoid that one moment. The moment the discomfort arrives and the whole body begs to leave. You have arranged your entire life so you never have to feel it. The cold room, so you turn up the heat. The hard hour, so you reach for the screen. The difficult conversation, so you let it die unsaid. You have spent years training yourself to flee the exact instant that the standing stone teaches a man to enter. And then you wonder why you have no strength when the storm comes and there is nowhere left to run. That is the thing almost no one will tell you. Toughness is not built in the moment of crisis. It is built in 10,000 small, chosen discomforts that no one sees, long before the crisis ever comes. The man who can stand in the great storm is only the man who has been standing in small storms for years, on purpose, when he could have stepped inside at any time and no one would have judged him for it. You have it backwards, and the backwards of it is killing you. You believe that when the great test finally comes, you will rise to it, that somehow, on the day it truly matters, you will find a strength you have never once shown on any ordinary day. This is the most comforting lie you tell yourself, and it is the most dangerous. You will not rise to the level of the test. You will fall to the level of your training, and your training has been a lifetime of fleeing the first sign of strain. A man does not become a stone the morning the storm arrives. He arrives at the storm as whatever he has been practicing every quiet day before it. And you have been practicing retreat. The stone priest began Kaname not with the sword, and not with the great trials. He began him with the water. Each morning, before the light, the boy was sent to a pool fed by snowmelt off the high rocks. Water so cold it stopped the breath in the chest. And the boy was told to enter it, and to stay, and to find, inside the panic and the gasping, one still place where he could simply be. The first morning, Kaname lasted 3 breaths before he fled the water, shaking and furious. The priest said nothing. The second morning, 4 breaths. And slowly, over many weeks, the boy learned the first secret of the standing stone, which is also the first secret you have never been taught. The cold did not get warmer. He got larger. The water was exactly as cruel on the 40th morning as it had been on the first. What changed was the man standing in it. Hear this, because you have spent your whole life waiting for the wrong thing. You keep waiting for the hard things to get easier. You think that is what strength is. A day arriving when the cold no longer bites and the weight no longer strains and the fear no longer rises. That day is not coming. The water stays cold. The strong are not the ones for whom it got warm. They are the ones who grew large enough to stand inside the cold without fleeing it. Look at how you have lived in light of this. You keep postponing your hard things until the day you feel ready for them, until the season of your life feels calmer, until the discomfort somehow shrinks to a size you can manage without strain. So you wait. You wait to begin the work until it stops feeling heavy. You wait to face the fear until it stops feeling like fear. And the waiting itself is the trap, because the heaviness is not a sign that you are not ready. The heaviness is the forge. By waiting for it to lift, you are waiting for the one thing that could have made you strong to leave the room before you stepped into it. And this is the practice you have refused your entire life. You retreat from every small discomfort the instant it arrives. And so you have stayed reed thin in your soul, while the discomforts themselves have stayed exactly as large as they always were. You have spent years shrinking the demands of your life instead of enlarging the man who meets them. That is why the first wave folds you. You are still 3 breaths deep. You have never once stayed for the 4th. But the cold water was only the beginning, and the mountain had a harder teacher waiting. Before I take you there, I have to tell you about the other student, because his story is the warning, and you need the warning as badly as you need the way. There was a second young man at the temple. His name was Jobin, and where Kaname arrived weak, Jobin arrived already hard. He was a soldier's son, raised rough, proud of a body that had never failed him. He took to the cold water on the first morning and stayed in it longer than men twice his age. He sneered, quietly, at the soft merchant's boy who fled gasping after 3 breaths. He believed that toughness was a thing he simply possessed, a gift in the blood, a hardness he had been born holding. And the stone priest watched Jobin with the same worry an old farmer feels watching a strong crop grow too fast in the spring, because Jobin was not practicing the standing stone. He was performing it. He stood in the cold to prove he was hard, not to become harder. He never entered the discomfort he actually feared, only the ones he was already good at. He endured the cold because the cold was easy for him, and he avoided, without ever admitting it, every trial that might have shown the others a crack. His toughness was a thing he was protecting, not a thing he was building. And a toughness you are protecting is already secretly afraid. You know a Jobin. Perhaps in some part of your life, you have been one. Hard in the places it is easy to be hard, and quietly fleeing every test that might expose the soft middle you have never dared to touch. Proud of the cold showers and silent about the dream you abandoned. Strong in the gym and crumbling in the rooms where it actually counts. That is not toughness. That is a performance of toughness. And the storm, when it finally comes, is not fooled by performances. And here is the cruelty hidden inside the performance. The harder you work to look strong, the more carefully you must avoid the places where you are weak, because the whole game depends on never being seen to crack. So the very pride that drives you also fences you out of the one ground where real toughness is built. You polish the strengths you already have, and you starve the weaknesses that actually rule your life. You become magnificent at the things that no longer cost you anything, and you stay a coward in the one room you most need to enter. The performer and the reed look like opposites. They are the same man, fleeing the same fire by 2 different roads. Watch what the mountain did to the hard boy. A season came when the temple was struck by sickness and famine together. A long gray winter where the food ran thin, and the work grew heavy, and there was no glory in any of it. No audience, no chance to look strong, only the endless dull grinding endurance of a hard thing that would not end and would not be admired. And Jobin, who had only ever practiced the discomforts that made him look strong, met a discomfort that offered him nothing, and he had no way to meet it. He grew bitter. He grew loud in his complaints. And one black morning, the strongest young man on the mountain simply walked down it and did not come back, while Kaname, the reed, the soft one, the boy who fled the water after 3 breaths, stayed. Not because he had grown harder than Jobin, because he had learned a different thing entirely. He had learned to stand inside discomfort that offered him no reward at all. Let that overturn the lie you have carried since you were young. You believe the tough people were handed something you were not. You believe they feel a hardness you have never felt. They do not. The man who looks unbreakable is not made of different stuff. He has simply practiced staying on purpose in the small, unglamorous discomforts that build the only toughness that lasts, the kind no one is watching, the kind that earns no praise, the kind that is just you and the cold and the long, quiet refusal to flee. Now let me take you deeper into the way, because the standing stone has a second teaching, and almost no one is ever given the second teaching. The seasons turned, and Kaname grew. He could stand in the snowmelt now without panic. He could carry the heavy loads up the mountain path without his mind screaming to set them down. And he thought, the way you would think, that he had become tough. He had not. He had learned only the easy half. He had learned to endure the discomforts he chose. On the mornings he was ready for them, in the order he expected them to come. Then the stone priest taught him the long fast. For 3 days the boy was given no food, and he was not allowed to rest, and he was sent to sit alone on the cold, high rocks where the wind never stopped. And there he met something the cold water had never shown him. Not pain. Pain he could now stand. He met the voice. The endless, reasonable, persuasive voice that rises inside a man when the discomfort goes long. The voice that does not shout but whispers. The voice that says, this is pointless, this proves nothing. No one would blame you. You have already done enough. Come down now and be warm. You know this voice. It is the truest enemy you will ever face, and it does not arrive as fear. It arrives as reason. It is the voice that talks you out of the 4th set, the 2nd mile, the hard chapter, the cold morning. It never tells you that you are weak. It tells you that you are being sensible. And every time you have ever folded, it was not because you could not go on. It was because that voice spoke, and it sounded so much like wisdom that you mistook surrender for good sense. And on the high rocks, hollow with hunger, Kaname learned the second teaching of the standing stone. He learned that the discomfort was never the real test. The discomfort was only the doorway. The real test was the voice that the discomfort let loose, and whether he would believe it. He sat, and the voice argued, and he did not answer it. He did not fight it, and he did not obey it. He simply let it speak into the wind, and he stayed, because he had learned that the voice is not a messenger of truth. It is only the sound the soft part of a man makes when it is being forged. And it always, always says, come down. Let that settle into you, because it names every collapse of your life. You did not fold because the thing was too hard. You fold because the voice spoke, and you believed it. You have spent your whole life treating that voice as if it were your honest judgment, when it is only the noise your weakness makes under load. The tough are not the ones who never hear it. Everyone hears it. The tough are the ones who learned, long ago, to let it speak and stay anyway. Think of how completely you have trusted that voice. When it told you the relationship was hopeless, you believed it was insight, and you left before the hard work could mend anything. When it told you the work was beneath you, you believed it was self-respect, and you quit the thing that might have built you. When it told you the goal was unrealistic, You believed it was maturity, and you set down the dream and called the setting down growth. Again and again you have handed that voice the authority of truth, when it has only ever been the cry of the part of you that wants to be comfortable. It is the most persuasive liar you will ever meet, and it lives inside your own skull, and it has been steering your life from the back seat for as long as you can remember. This is why every hard thing you ever started fell apart. You were waiting for the voice to fall silent before you continued, and the voice never falls silent. It speaks loudest exactly when the forging is doing its deepest work. You took its loudness as a sign to stop, when it was the surest sign in the world that you were finally, at last, in the fire that could have changed you. Learn to read that loudness the way the old men of the mountain read it. To them, the rising of the voice was not a warning, it was a marker. It told them precisely how close they were to the edge where a man is actually remade, because the soft part of you does not scream when nothing is at stake. It screams when the thing you are doing is large enough to change you, and it is fighting for its life, because every time you stay, a piece of your old softness dies. So the next time that voice rises in you, loud and reasonable and begging you to come down, do not take it as proof you have reached your limit. Take it as proof you have finally reached the place worth standing in. The reed flees the loudness. The stone walks toward it. And here is the part that should frighten you and then set you free. The voice never dies, not for Kaname, not for the stone priest, not for the oldest, hardest men on that mountain, with gray in their beards and 40 winters of standing behind them. It only grows quieter and easier to leave unanswered, the more times you sit beside it and refuse to come down. Toughness is not a fortress you build once and live inside forever. It is a fire you re-enter, on purpose, every day you live. So let me bring you to the hardest trial of Kaname's life, because everything I have told you is about to be tested, and so, sooner than you think, will you be. The stone priest grew old, and one winter he began to die. And in his last weeks he gave Kaname a final teaching, the deepest one, the one that turns the whole way on its head. He said, "You think you have been learning to suffer. You have not. You have been learning to choose. Every morning you entered the cold water. When you could have stayed warm, you were not practicing pain. You were practicing the one freedom no man can take from you, the freedom to decide what you will do regardless of what you feel. That is all toughness ever was, not the absence of the urge to flee. The presence of a man who flees anyway, no, who stays anyway, against the urge because he, and not the urge, is the one who rules his life. Sit with that, because it rearranges everything you thought this was. You imagined the tough man as someone who feels less, suffers less, fears less. He does not. He feels the cold as sharply as you do. He hears the voice as clearly as you do. The whole difference, the entire difference, is that he has practiced 10,000 times doing the thing his feelings begged him not to do. And so on the day it finally matters, the day the great storm comes, his body already knows how to stay when everything in it screams to run, because he has rehearsed that exact moment every cold morning of his life. And see what this means for the prison you built around yourself. You believe you cannot do the hard thing because you do not feel strong enough to do it. You are waiting to feel like a tough man before you act like one. And that order is exactly reversed. And the reversal is why you have stayed soft for so long. The feeling does not come first. The action comes first, chosen against the feeling. And the feeling follows slowly behind it, years behind it sometimes. Kaname did not wait to feel unbreakable before he stepped into the water. He stepped into the water again and again, while feeling like a coward. And the unbreakable thing was built underneath him by the stepping. You have been waiting your whole life for a feeling that only ever arrives after the very actions you refuse to take until you feel it. And the great storm did come. After the stone priest died, a hard band of men came up from the burning lowlands, and they came to the temple for its stores, and they came expecting soft monks who would flee. And Kaname, the merchant's boy, the reed, the one who once fled cold water after 3 breaths, stood at the gate and did not move, not because he felt no fear. The fear was a flood in him. But fear was only the cold water now, only the long fast, only the voice on the high rocks, and he had stood inside all of them 10,000 times, and his body had long since learned the one thing the standing stone exists to teach. When everything in you says run, you can stay. He stood, and because he stood, the others found their courage and stood beside him. And the men from the lowlands looked at that unmoving line and chose an easier village. Understand what this means for you, because it is the whole reason the cost of the way is worth paying. The small discomfort you choose tomorrow morning is not small. It only looks small. It is a rehearsal. Every cold shower, every hard hour you refuse to flee, every time you stay one breath past the urge to quit, you are teaching your body a single total lesson. When it gets hard, I stay. And one day, on a day you cannot see coming, your whole life will turn on whether that lesson was learned. A loss that tries to break you, a pressure that tries to fold you, a storm that comes for everything you are and finds either a reed that bends and runs, or a man who has spent years learning to stand. And the storm is coming, not as a possibility, but as a certainty, for you as surely as it came for Kaname. There will be a winter in your life you did not choose and cannot escape, a loss that takes the ground from under you, a stretch of years that asks more of you than you think you have. This is not a threat. It is simply the shape of every human life, and the only real question is what kind of man that winter will find when it arrives. It will not ask whether you meant to be strong. It will not accept your good intentions or your unkept promises. It will simply press on you with its full weight, and you will either stand or you will not. And which one you do will be decided long before the storm by the 1,000 quiet mornings you are living through right now. So let me leave the mountain now, and the temple, and the boy who became a stone in his own time. Let me speak only to you, because the story was never the point. You were always the point. You and the softness, and the one ancient way that forges it into iron. Here is what to do, and I want you to feel how plain it is, because the plainness is the whole reason it works, and the reason you have ignored it your entire life. You will stop arranging your life to avoid all discomfort, and you will begin, on purpose, to seek a little of it every single day. Choose one small hard thing tomorrow, the cold end of the shower, the walk in the rain you would rather skip, the set past the point your body asks to quit, the hour of hard work with the screen turned off and the silence pressing in. It does not matter which. It matters only that you choose discomfort you could have avoided, and that you stay in it one breath longer than the part of you that wants to flee. And when the voice comes, and it will come, you will not argue with it, and you will not obey it. You will recognize it for what it is, not your wisdom, only the sound your softness makes while it is being forged. You will let it speak into the wind, and you will stay one breath longer than yesterday. That single extra breath, repeated across 1,000 small mornings, is the entire way of the standing stone. There is nothing else to it. There was never anything else to it. And you will find the practice everywhere, because the doorway into the fire is everywhere. It is in the moment the workout asks you to stop, and you do one more. It is in the moment the hard task feels heavy, and you begin it instead of fleeing to the easy one. It is in the moment the conversation grows uncomfortable, and you stay in the room instead of going silent. Count them, these small chosen stayings, and watch what they slowly do to the man underneath. You are not learning 100 different strengths. You are forging one toughness and pressing it into 100 doors. And watch what this does to the verdict you passed on yourself, because this is the part that changes how you walk through your own life. Right now, deep down, you have convicted yourself of weakness, and every retreat adds another stone to the case against you. But every chosen discomfort is evidence the other way. Stay in the cold once when you wanted to flee, and you have one small proof that you are not only the man who folds. Stay 100 times, and the proof becomes a pattern, and the pattern becomes a quiet certainty in the deepest part of you. A certainty no one can argue you out of, because you built it yourself with your own staying. On 100 mornings no one was watching. You stop having to believe you are strong. You begin to simply know it, the way you know your own name, because you have the receipts, and the receipts are the cold mornings you did not run. This is what the soft man never understands, looking in from the outside. He thinks the tough carry some unshakable confidence handed to them by birth or by luck. They do not. They carry evidence. They have done the hard thing so many times that the question of whether they can do it again has simply stopped being a question. And that evidence is available to you, starting tomorrow, in the most ordinary discomfort you can find, chosen on purpose, and stayed in one breath past the urge to leave. You will fail some days. Hear me clearly. You will flee the water some mornings. Kaname fled it for weeks. The boy who became a stone began as a reed who could not last 3 breaths, and the stone priest let him fail, because the fleeing is not the end of the way. Abandoning the way is the end of the way. Fleeing the cold one morning and returning to it the next without shame and without despair, that is the way. You were never asked to be unbreakable today. You were asked only to return to the fire, faster each time, and stay one breath longer than before. And slowly, in trials so small, you will be almost ashamed to call them victories. Something will begin to change in the deepest part of you. The cold will not get warmer, but you will get larger. The voice will not fall silent, but it will lose its power to move you. The first wave of pressure will arrive one day and find, where the reed used to be, a man who has stood in 10,000 small storms and knows in his body that he can stand in this one too. That will not have happened in a blaze. It will have happened the way every real and lasting thing happens. One cold morning at a time, one stayed breath at a time, one small refusal to flee, repeated until it becomes who you are. And people will begin to feel it in you, long before you can name it in yourself. They will sense that you are no longer so easily moved, that pressure no longer rearranges your face, that hard news no longer scatters you. They will not know why. They will think it is something you were given. You will know the truth. You were given nothing. You simply stopped fleeing the cold and stood in it, morning after ordinary morning, until standing became the only thing you knew how to do. That steadiness others feel is not a gift. It is the residue of 1,000 small fires you chose to enter when you could have stayed warm. Imagine yourself 1 year from tonight, Not transformed in a flash, not made into someone you are not. Just a man who for 1 year kept entering the cold he could have avoided and stayed one breath past the urge to run. Picture the pressure that used to fold you, meeting a man it can no longer move. Picture the hard week arriving and a quiet steadiness in you where the panic used to live. Picture the storm you cannot yet see and the way you will stand inside it because you spent 1,000 ordinary mornings learning how. That man is not a fantasy. He is not waiting on better luck or a harder bloodline or a gentler life. He is on the far side of one ancient practice, kept badly at first, then better, then without thinking. He is one stayed breath away, repeated for a year. That is the ancient way to build mental toughness, not a hardness you were handed at birth or denied at birth. A doorway, and the daily courage to walk into the cold instead of away from it, and to stay one breath longer than the part of you that begs to flee. You break easily. You have for a long time. The only question left is the one you have spent your whole life avoiding. How much longer will you keep fleeing the very fire that could forge you? The water is cold. It was always going to be cold. Step in.